taking on the visitors South Melbourne here today. Today's match is scheduled to kick off in just on 15 minutes at 4 p.m. We'd like to take the opportunity to remind all spectators of the FA Code of Behaviour. Spectators must never use violence in any form.
Testing.
Fellow spectators, players.
Let's go. Let's go.
The starting lineup for the home team, Heidelberg United, in goal, number 1, Yaron Souza, number 8, Mohammed Adara, number 20, Max Bassetto, number 3, your captain, Benjamin Collins, number 7, Fletcher Fulton, number 11, Sabit Ngor, number 9, Phil Juach, number 6, Anthony Lesiotis, number 14, Ryan Lethlean, number 18, Anthony Theophilus, and number 10, Asahi Yokogawa. On the bench for Heidelberg United, number 13, Johnny Apostolopoulos, number 30, Damien Barbanera, number 15.
Let's go.
Heidelberg United and South Melbourne, Alexander and Hallis. It's Derby Day at the Village here in round 23 of the 2025 NPL Victoria season. My name's Adam Sarikoglu. Pleased to be joined by Oscar Rutherford here on the call. And Oscar, we're just talking about off air before we just came on. It's actually kind of hard to pinpoint what exactly is on the line other than some pride between two old rivals here today. They are going to meet in 14 days from now, just down the road at the home of the Matildas in the Doherty Cup final. But as far as the league is concerned, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what exactly we're playing for here today.
Well, of course, for the Burgers, it's about wrapping up or taking another step towards wrapping up the Premier's Plate. We know heading into this weekend, 5 points clear of Avondale with just the 4 games remaining. So they can't seal the league title just yet today, but they'll get very close depending on the result of Avondale, who are taking on Altona, of course, in the game that kicked off about 45 minutes before this. South Melbourne still an outside chance of sneaking into finals, but they'll need a lot to go right, and that has to start today. A number of changes to both teams' lineups. We know that they both played in the Australia Cup, of course, in midweek, but always a big day when it's Greek Derby Day, Adam.
Yes, both teams featuring midweek in the Australia Cup, and of course they will face off in the Doherty Cup final at the home of the Matildas in a fortnight's time. We have a lot of changes for these two lineups, as well as we do get the kickoff. We're underway at Olympic Village, and already it's Heidelberg United that are looking to attack here. Very early corner. So that you're having instant impact here. And they're going on the attack early. The league leaders, they can't win the Premier's Plate here today. South Melbourne now mathematically safe from the drop in NPL Victoria, but they need a hell of a lot to go right if they are going to sneak into the top 6.
And of course, both teams having their squad depth tested with the cup action in midweek, as well as, of course, as Adam has mentioned, the Doherty Cup football. But a first look at goal coming here for the league leaders and the hosts Heidelberg United as the outswinging cross is delivered. It's got too much heart on it for really anybody, and will end up rolling out on the other side for a South Melbourne throw. But for Heidelberg, they've made 3 changes from the team that progressed in the Australia Cup in midweek against the Northern New South Wales team, of course, Western Bears. It's 3 changes to the front line as well that Johnny A has made. Chokdow, Jay McGowan and Peter Klaassen all starting today on the bench, having been in the starting 11 in midweek. And that makes way for Buljuach, Sabit Nur and Max Bisetto. A couple of regulars in NPL Victoria football this season, whilst for South Melbourne, 5 changes have been named by Shanisha Kahadzic. 5 players who started in midweek in the Cup, not in the matchday squad. Jordan Lampard, Yuzu Iwakami, Andy Brennan, Jack Pope and Max Mikola, none of them are in the starting lineup or on the bench this afternoon, as we see that ball through, potentially opening the path for Buljuach, but South Melbourne get back to defend. But with those 5 exclusions from the starting 11 for South Melbourne, it sees Braden Spink, Cooper Halfpenny, Ren Negamatsu, Alex Menalau and Campbell Dovison all into the starting 11 for this Greek derby. So plenty of fresh faces, both teams making use of their squad depth, but a real test for some less sighted South Melbourne players today, Adam.
And a good mix of guys that can get a run here against a really high quality opposition, and those that are regular starters. And we're going to see Aaron Souza get his first touch of the game. Right nearby him was The man in form, Noel Bernarda, has scored twice in the past week. He did score in the Australia Cup on Wednesday. Also scored in the 2-0 win against Altona in round 22 of NPL Victoria. South Melbourne back on the mainland. And it's all about Cup for South for the remainder of this winter season. NSD coming as well, obviously, for South Melbourne. As this one gets blazed away toward our broadcast area. It's Yannis Isis in charge of proceedings here on a chilly and windy Saturday afternoon at the Village. South Melbourne have not beaten Heidelberg in the league in more than 3 years. You have to go back to February 2022. The last time they beat their rivals. This has not been a happy hunting ground for South Melbourne for a couple of reasons. Against this opposition, of course, some relatively recent grand finals as well, obviously, that have not gone their way. And this is a chance for South to go on the attack early here. We're not going to see the customary long throw from Max Mikler today, not in the lineup. Painter Andrews crossing in. Can South fire a shot away? It's Nagamatsu over the top of the ball right now. Trying to find a way around Nyor. Bernarda tried some fancy stuff and then an absolute shank in the end from Dobberson.
Yeah, really good look on goal there for South Melbourne. Jake Marshall's header back across goal. Very nearly unlocking the Heidelberg defence, a defence which has been so hard to breach over the last couple of months. You mentioned, Adam, not since 2022 that South beat Heidelberg in the league. Last time they beat Heidelberg here at the Village, you've got to go back to 2019, so over 6 years ago. And the Burgers are potentially through on goal here. Javi Lopez comes off his line to make life awkward for Asahi Yokokawa, and he succeeded in doing so. The result is a Heidelberg corner there, second of the afternoon. And it will be Yokokawa to head over to deliver. As of course the tall timber on offer. Ben Collins, Ryan Leflin, it's a bit Nyor as well, all can get up and head the ball. It finds its way through to Collins, who wasn't really well positioned to get much power. He went with the swinging left boot at the second attempt. That one well wide of the target. Of course, as much as South Melbourne's odds of sneaking into finals are looking slim, not only do they have the cup games still to come, but they've been really impressive since Sinisa Kahadzic took over mid-season. In fact, since he took the reins, Sinisa, it's only the top 3 teams in the league who have collected more than South Melbourne's 17 points. Heidelberg, though, of course, one of those 3 teams. And they're looking to continue a mighty impressive unbeaten run. If they can avoid defeat today, they will equal the all-time NPL men's record for unbeaten games streak. A record that currently sits at 18. Max Bisetto fires with the right boot, but this would be an 18th straight game without defeat for the Burgers. If they're able to win or draw, that would match the record set by South Melbourne under Chris Taylor, as well as Johnny Anastasiadis' Bentley Greens team. So decent company to keep, and reflective of just how dominant the Burgers have been, particularly over the last couple of months.
They've been outstanding in any competition they've found themselves in for a sustained period of time now. Only 2 losses for the whole NPL Victoria season, and one of them right at the very start in the season opener out at Summer Street. And what an anomaly that looks to be now, with the Melbourne Knights in their particular predicaments at the bottom of the table. And these are 2 teams, albeit I don't think we're seeing either of the best 11s out here today, and for understandable reasons as well, but 2 teams in absolutely hot form. South Melbourne have only lost one of their past 8 outings in NPL Victoria. Nisha Kajic has come in and just reinvigorated the program down at Lakeside Stadium. And as much as it's about results for South, but also just game style and the aesthetic that they put on the park each week. Just some more positivity around the entire setup for the men in blue. And this is a fixture that means a lot to both of these teams. As Lesiotis will try to chase this down. Peter Andrews with him. Besetto, it was on target. We've got quite the goalkeeping matchup here today. Harvey Lopez and Yaron Souza. No issues for Lopez. And Souza will get it back now in goal for Heidelberg. The way the fixture pattern sets out, both these teams actually are lined up pretty closely with their remaining fixtures. They both still have games against Avondale and Oakley to come. There'll be 3 more league fixtures to come before we reach the finals in NPL Victoria after this particular weekend. So Avondale and Oakley, 2 tough opponents still to come for both of these sides. Oakley, as they tend to do at this time of year every now and then, dropping points last night. South Melbourne to be hosting Green Gully next week. Nagamatsu here looking to creep into the area. Has only scored once. He slipped over and the ball had made contact with his hand. Feels slightly hard done by. He slipped over at the exact wrong moment. Inadvertently touched it with his hands after that. Just going to say he's come over into NPL Victoria for South mid-season. Only scored the 1 goal since he did make the transition. That was in his debut against Hume City.
Yeah, just for a moment you thought maybe Anastasis was about to point to the spot. Ren Nagamatsu going down at an inopportune time, but more so losing his footing than anything. As we see that long ball sent forward by Ryan Lethlean, but no surprise that Heidelberg have been comfortably in control of the possession for the first 10 minutes of this game. Really do suffocate their opponents over the course of 90 minutes, gradually wearing them down. As we see Anthony Theodoropoulos getting back to support his defence. Now Mo Aidara looking to get clear. And eventually Yaron Souza opts to hoof it long upfield. Talking about players in form, there aren't many in better form than Yaron Souza at this stage. He might be called into action in a moment here as Nagamatsu with the sliding attempt, and South Melbourne will get a second look at it. Belatedly, Charlie Leach deemed to have been fouled. And so South Melbourne will have a real good look on goal from a dead ball situation coming right up. See Noel Bernardo quickly moving into position to stamp his claim on this opportunity. Scoring both during the week in the Australia Cup and last time out for South Melbourne in their win against Altona. And well, as much as the Burgers have controlled the early possession, South Melbourne have looked far from toothless going forward, and they've got another really good look here. Looks to be one of Bernardo or Leach who will take the free kick. Bernardo moves first, leaves it for his teammate though, and it wasn't lacking power or intent, but ultimately too much height and width on the attempt from Charlie Leach. So another look on Yaron Souza's goal. But for now, 12 minutes into the game, both teams just feeling the other out and working their way into their own patterns.
For all intents and purposes, a dress rehearsal for the Doherty Cup final. South Melbourne in particular, yet again, making a run in the Cup. Heidelberg have shown some good recent form in recent times in multiple competitions as well, obviously. They've been the benchmark in Victoria's top flight this year. It's been so impressive. Such an incredible run of 17 consecutive league games without defeats. As the ball comes in here, Yokokawa tried to play back. Flag goes up. Nice ball coming forward from Fletcher Fulton as well. Sahi Yokokawa, what a highlight machine he is. 8 goals this season in the league.
Just in that last patch of play, Fletcher Fulton making his run, and John Anastasiadis was yelling at him that no, Bernardo wasn't catching him. He was encouraging his fullback to get forward, and we know that's, of course, a key feature of Heidelberg's game. No Jamal Ali today, but Heidelberg still pushing up and posing a real attacking threat.
Painter Andrews for South Melbourne. Long diagonal. Pretty good ball to pick out Dolverson, who blazed away earlier. Tough one-on-one here, though, with Theodoropoulos. Extra help arriving, trying to force his way to the front here. Sebit Nyor just trying to make a nuisance of himself, but it stays in the possession of South Melbourne. Marshall. Painter Andrews. Again, tried to go diagonal, but this time kept it along the ground. And nothing coming there. 3 fixtures today in NPL Victoria. To close out rounds at 23. Of course, there will be one more round before we take another break in the league for Doherty Cup final weekend. Naidara. Left lean. In no rush right now. Alexander. Here's Lesiotis. Just a little game of kick-to-kick between Aidara, Lesiotis, and left lean. And then Aaron Souza gets involved. And Heidelberg will start again here from the halfway line. A bit more purpose this time. Fulton. Buljuarch is deemed to be offside. With a game in hand, obviously, with this one as we speak. Finds himself with a 3-goal lead at the top of the goal-scoring charts in NPL Victoria. 3 ahead of Joe Guest. And already twice so far, Heidelberg have been caught offside. It's up for grabs in midfield here. Leach pouncing for South.
Just an update from around the grounds as well. At half-time at Paisley Park, still 0-0 between Altona and Avondale, so real potential for Heidelberg to all but wrap up top spot this season, secure themselves the premiership. Still a long way to go in this one before they can turn their mind to that, as we see Ryan left lane once again carrying the ball out of defence. Cleverly defended by Marshall. And Bernardo back supporting the back line. An attempted release comes from Charlie Leach towards Nagamatsu, who again lost his footing, perhaps as a result of some contact with a Heidelberg defender, but referee happy for the play to continue. And Dara has Alex Menelau closing him down. Menelau, of course, joining up with South Melbourne in the mid-season window, having spent a number of years at Melbourne Victory. And now charging forward was Sebit Nyor. Leach cutting in ahead of Lesiotis. Now Fletcher Fulton has Lesiotis, who looks to pick out a clever ball through, but it's got far too much on it for the run of Theodoropoulos. So Heidelberg just not yet finding their attacking groove. We know they are a a team who tend to do their best work in the second half. Quite comfortable with games remaining level for the first half or 60 minutes of play, and then really putting their opponents to the sword in the final stages. That's certainly how things panned out last time these teams faced off at Lakeside Stadium. That the last of Esteban Quintas's reign as head coach of South Melbourne, where his team kept things tight and made it uncomfortable for the Burgers for a good hour of action before being blown away in the final half hour. Three goals for Heidelberg on that day, coming from Anthony Lesiotis, Buljuach and Asahi Yokokawa. So all of those players looking to add to their goal scoring tally against South Melbourne. Yokokawa, in fact, hoping to score against South Hellas for the fourth consecutive game. They've been one of his favourite opponents. Now Bernarda throwing his body at the ball as he's inclined to do, but he's given away a foul in the process. And he's a little worse for wear as well. So Bernarda just spent a few extra moments before getting back to his feet.
The problem there being that he also had Fletcher Fulton throwing his body at the ball as well. He went for a header. Bernarda threw the boot out. Everyone's okay in the end. There's Fulton again advancing. Bassetto in the area. Well kept out by Jake Marshall. Is Jumarsh going to get a chance to attack here? No, it's going to be cleared away in Glaze 8, out into space. And away from danger. And he's Jesus right now. He's having a conversation with Charlie Leach. He's been busy with his conversations with various players so far here today. Yanni Zizis. Just having a good old chat with Yaron Souza after the free kick miss for South Melbourne earlier. Here is Souza. Left lean. No pressure on this ball. Johnny A barking out some instructions. Lesiotis. Played to the advantage of Adara. Tried to release quickly. Nyor gets it now. Trying to get around Spink. Played it well. Adara. This is a good build-up. Buljuach. They'll still get a chance here. Chased down by Fulton. Looking to find a way around Bernarda. It stays on the ground. Some desperate stuff from South Melbourne. Dolpherson was the one to clear away. But another attack coming up for the league leaders. Left lean. Tried to go down the line. That didn't work out. Painter Andrews. Ren Nagamatsu struggling to keep it down. Goes in for the second time, though. Did dispossess Lesiotis. And then Nyor came in late. It's a physical affair, this one so far. Ryan left lean makes another advance in the direction of Buljuach. He goes, and Painter Andrews will deal with it and get the first boot on it. Fulton to take the throw here. Left lean. The combination with Adara. A line of three at the back for Heidelberg. And spread out fairly wide up front. It was Duarch and Theodoropoulos in the middle there. Theodoropoulos peels out now. The South defence is holding up. How's that ball going to land? It's going to land pretty well for Sebit-Nor. It won't get anywhere near Lesiotis, so and Collins regains for Heidelberg.
Once again, Painter Andrews there to clear. It is just so interesting to watch how Heidelberg United work the ball around. See Ryan Lethlean spending so much time on the ball as there's just such dynamic movement ahead of him. You can see why across the course of 90 minutes it really wears down an opposition. That ball for Max Pacetto with a little bit too much on it. So South Melbourne will finally get their reprieve with a goal kick. The Burgers just turning the screw ever so slightly. It's the first real sustained spell of pressure that South Melbourne have had to withstand. You see their approach with the ball at their feet now as Javi Lopez looks to work out an escape route with Jake Marshall. Does so effectively to the feet of Painter Andrews. Painter Andrews, who's continued his run into the middle of the park. It's a good ball as well for Dovison. Campbell Dovison skips around Souza. Off the post and out. The chance is still alive. Leach scores the goal. A brilliant attacking move from South Melbourne. Campbell Dovison somehow couldn't get the job done, but Charlie Leach was there to put it in the back of the net, and South Melbourne lead at Olympic Village.
That's a goal for South Melbourne, scored by number 88, Charlie Leach. Scores here at the Olympic Village. Heidelberg United 0, South Melbourne.
Charlie Leach, not a noted scorer, but he's the one that takes advantage. What looked like a moment of poor luck resulting in good luck for South Melbourne. They take a lead here on the road against their arch rival. For Charlie Leach, his first goal of the season. And a nice finish as well. It was against the flow. You could see Heidelberg wanting to dictate the terms. But they've been exposed and given away the first goal here today. It does feel like up front, South have looked a little more dangerous so far here today. And how will the leaders respond now? Lesiotis trying to pounce on the ball. Duarch doing all sorts of things, but couldn't get it in clear space. How cynical was that challenge? It's worthy of a yellow card. Not only for Fletcher Fulton, but one directed at the South Melbourne bench as well. The player down who I think I saw the number 27 of Painter Andrews. No, it's not Painter Andrews. So we'll confirm who it is in a moment, but that man is still down for South Melbourne. Definitely card worthy, that one. Yanni Zizis was getting some advice from the South bench, perhaps about the colour of the card, and he saw fit to show yellow to the officials there as well.
Yeah, and a little bit of frustration for Heidelberg. That was the part of the pitch where South Melbourne made their move for the opening goal. It's Noel Bernardo who's back on his feet and up to the halfway line. But just to go back to that South Melbourne opener, it really was a splendid footballing move. They thought their way through it. Jack Painter Andrews deserves a huge amount of credit. He was the key to unlocking the Heidelberg defence. Brilliant work from Campbell Dovison getting his run in the starting 11 on such a big stage. And then, of course, Charlie Leach with the finish. And a fair demonstration of just how emphatically Shanisha Kahadzic has turned around the South Melbourne playing style. It's brilliant flowing passing moves. And with results to come as well, we may well be in the midst of another as Jack Painter-Andrews puts the cross into the penalty area. That one more comfortably dealt with by Collins. Extraordinarily, that makes South Melbourne just the second team to score a goal against the Burgers since June. It's been an extraordinary run for Heidelberg. Clean sheet almost every week for the last 2 months. Just those couple of goals conceded against Dandenong City, but South have found a way to do it. And things all of a sudden feeling a little bit more uncomfortable for the hosts Heidelberg. Of course, if they lose today and Avondale pick up the 3 points, then the margin at the top is cut to 2. And with the Burgers still to play Avondale, the Premier's plate that they look so much on track for could slip from their grasp. This is Max Bassetto. Has the supporting run of Fulton, which is where he goes now. The cross is a good one. Really awkward to defend. But South Melbourne had the numbers in the right place to get it away. Heidelberg just reminding their visitors of what they can do. Well positioned by Spink to get the ball clear of the danger zone.
So just as a side note for Fletcher Fulton, his 5th yellow of the season, with the next fixture being at Avenger Park on Saturday. So perhaps explaining why he was so frustrated to see yellow there. It was his 5th of the NPL Victoria year, and a big game next week against Avondale. He'll take his throw here. Didn't think there was much in it. Well, he didn't anyway. In his attack on Noel Bernarda. Ball bouncing in the box. Ren Nagamatsu had a man on, had 2 men on in fact. Here's Lesiotis for Heidelberg United. They haven't been shaken up too much by conceding the first goal here today. Sahi Yokokawa goes tumbling over. Yanni Zizis for the second time today has a chat with Charlie Leach. And Yokokawa will have a chance to take the free kick he earns here. Such a threat from range, we know that. First look at a free kick from a scoring position for Heidelberg here today. 4-man wall for South Melbourne here, Asahi Yokokawa. Eight goals to his name this season in NPL Victoria. Decides just to lay up, and there was nothing coming in a yellow and black shirt there. While there might not be, in the context of their table position, be too much on the line for Heidelberg, they don't want to have this streak of undefeated games. They don't want to have it end against this opposition. And at this venue, that's for sure. They are down 1-0 right now. Bernarda having a hard time dealing with Mohamed Aidara, but keeps it in South's hands. Marshall. Glaze. Lopez gives it to Cooper Halfpenny. Now it's South Melbourne taking a leaf out of Heidelberg's book here. Bernardo going back to Marshall. No way through right now for South Melbourne. The ball going down the line. It was Theodoropoulos with the aerial work there. But it'll stay with South Melbourne once more. Spink with it here. In front of the larger concentration of supporters here today at Olympic Village. And Glaze puts that into the crowd.
I mean, you have to say that South Melbourne goal came at really a perfect time, just when you felt like Heidelberg were really getting their teeth into the game. Those patterns that we see where they just recycle the ball and almost relentlessly fire attacks at the opposition. Taking a bit of the wind out of that spell for the Burgers, who are now having to reset and really play the game as if it's the first minute again. Rebuilding that momentum. They've just got a little bit over 10 minutes in this first half to do that. Otherwise, they'll be looking for a second half turnaround. Of course, also energises South to have breached the otherwise almost impenetrable Heidelberg defence. Lethlean again makes his way forward, but you can see the energy with which South are defending. They're keeping their shape, they're being disciplined as well. And frustrating their hosts. This is Mo Idara in the middle of the Olympic Village. Lethlean spreading it to Yokokawa. And Idara dropping back between the two central defenders to try and open up more of those passing lanes. Lethlean goes central towards Bourgeois, the league's top scorer. This is Sabit Nur now. Trying to skip past Spink. Does so effectively. By the time he was ready to fire the shot away, getting back and closing down the space was Alex Menelau. Well, if you're Johnny A in this position, Adam, of course, you've got a tried and trusted method that he knows can wear down opponents over the course of 90 minutes. Do you imagine that the head coach for the Burgers right now is still feeling fairly confident that the system will eventually do its work? Yokokawa is making his foray forward, and there's another potential counter-attack for South Melbourne. That ball over the top, though, asking a little bit too much of Campbell Dovison. But for the Burgers, trust the system and it'll eventually come through.
Yeah, and it's been a really dour game, this one so far. And there's been absolutely no reaction whatsoever since the goal was conceded. That was in the 25th minute. So yeah, there's no reason for Johnny A and Heidelberg United not to trust their system right now. South have made, don't forget, 5 changes from the team that started down in the upper aisle on Wednesday. The Burgers made 3 changes, obviously had to factor in the opponent on Wednesday, which was Western Bears. Obviously, Yanni Zizis has stopped play here. I wonder if there's a concern for the Heidelberg skipper, Benjamin Collins, just needing to take in some deep ones here. Just needing a breather. Looks to be in a little bit of discomfort right now. Yanni Zizis comes to check on him and all will be okay. Yeah, they're the 90-minute specialists, Heidelberg, aren't they? Anyone, anytime, they'll be able to outrun them. That's certainly the feeling with this Heidelberg United team this year. It's been a real key theme as to why they've been on this such dominant run. I'll be happy to have this stay at 1-0 for the next hour of play, just about. Well, maybe not an hour per se, but certainly close to it, and still be in with the shot of taking the 3 points late in the affair. the same time, South Melbourne, perhaps with a bit of freedom here, not much to lose for them right now. They can just take their chances when they do get the chance on the counter and play with a little bit more freedom. Left lane with Leach tracking him down that left sideline. Goes back to Adara. Lesiotis engaged in a one-on-one battle with Menelau. Benjamin Collins. Fulton. Got it back from Lesiotis, Theodoropoulos. Fulton again. Dolverson in his way. Now Passetto for Sebit Noor. Looking to find a way around Spink right now. Theodoropoulos will go in, but it'll get away from Fletcher Fulton. The defensive structure's holding up for South Melbourne so far today.
Well, worth mentioning as well, if the scoreline remains as it is, South Melbourne be within 5 points of the top 6. It's a pretty substantial ask with only 3 more league games to play after this, but still keeping the door ajar. Worth noting as well down at Paisley Park that Avondale have taken the lead. Luca Tavia putting the Avengers ahead. So as things stand, if both games were to end as the scorelines currently read, Avondale would be closing to within just 2 points of the Burgers ahead of their massive clash at Avenger Park next weekend. It's already a big few weeks coming up for Heidelberg, but they'll have mounted the pressure on themselves if they were to lose this game today. And with just 5 minutes remaining in the first half, South Melbourne have themselves a free kick in the Burgers half. So an opportunity to give a bit of a reprieve to their defence and push some bodies forward as well. It's lofted towards the penalty area. Marshall and Inglesi both nearest to it. Now Bernarda goes with the left-footed cross inside all the way to the back post. Nagamatsu keeps the ball in play. And South Melbourne will have a corner to come. Alex Menelau heading over to that far side to deliver the in-swinging ball. Opts instead to take it short to Leach. Leach returns it to Menelau on the edge of the area. Alex Menelau fires it towards Yaron Souza. That was difficult for the goalkeeper through a number of bodies as well. Now Painter Andrews for South Melbourne. He pulls the trigger as well. That one a little bit further from its intended target than Menelau's effort. But yet again, for all the control of the general play that Heidelberg have, the possession that they're keeping, it's South Melbourne who look the more threatening when they go forward. The Burgers will again have to work their way through the South press, which they've done fairly effectively up to this point in the first half. South will get to reclaim possession as Marshall lofts it forward towards Bernarda. Leach wasn't able to get past left lane, but Bernarda will collect the scraps. And as he cops a little nudge on his way down, he's prompted the referee's whistle. And in the aftermath, Bernarda had an anguished expression on his face, looking a little bit uncomfortable. Getting some instruction from his coach that he should be the one to deliver a left-footed ball. Doesn't look totally comfortable, the South Melbourne forward at the moment. Some pain around his knee area. He opts to take it short. 1-2 with Spink. Bernarda to deliver. Idara was there to close down the space. And as Painter Andrews heads towards the touchline, Heidelberg will regain possession, but only momentarily. So a really good few minutes for South as they head towards half-time with their lead still intact. And Painter Andrews does enough to win his team the throw. So right now, everything going the way that Sanisha Kahadzic would like. His team is in front. And with just a couple minutes to go, they've kept the ball. They've repelled a series of Heidelberg attacks. And now, well, if anything, South Melbourne showing a little bit of potential to grab a second goal on the break.
In a funny sort of way, I think both coaches might be somewhat okay with how this one's played out so far. Unless we get a second goal, Nagamatsu denied. It will be a corner. And certainly for the first half hour, Johnny A would have been quite pleased with how it was going. It was in complete control for Heidelberg. South are ending this first half pretty well. They get a look at a corner here, I think for the first time today, in the final minute of regulation. And it's set to be 2 minutes added on. Collins overrunning. It's popped up in the air. Souza awkward. And then Marshall almost put that one into traffic. So you would give the points to South when all is said and done for this first half. The goal coming in the 25th minute, Charlie Leach. After Dobinson put it into the post, and on the rebounds, it was Leach in the right spot to tuck it away inside the near post, and that is the difference here in the Greek Derby. Two teams that will be meeting again for a bit of silverware in a fortnight's time. The Doherty Cup final, that will be at the home of the Matildas on August 9th. First booking for a South Melbourne player at least. There, the bench did get a yellow for a little bit of dissent earlier. Duarch. Marshall, that yellow card being shown to Braden Spink. This is Nagamatsu. Got tripped up, and yep, that's going to be a clear yellow as well. Aidara, who is not happy. Nagamatsu staying down. Yanni Zizi's got the yellow card out straight away. There is yellow being flashed left, right, and centre. And some very late drama here in the first half. South are going to get a look at a free kick. Right at the death here. Ren Nagamatsu's not gotten up just yet. Did say it had been a pretty physical affair. And some late examples of that right at the end of the first half. Yanni Zizis has been quite busy. 3 names in the book. Braden Spink. Mohamed Aidara, first booking of the year for him. Fletcher Fulton picked up his 5th yellow card earlier in this first half as well. And so won't be featuring against Avondale next week. That looms as a pretty enticing game, that one at Avenger Park this time next week in that customary time slot of 3 p.m. Saturday that the Avengers like to play. So last exchanges of the first half here. Bernarda with Yokokawa for company. Noah Bernarda. That will be it. Leach unable to make his advance as the flag goes up, and that's half-time here at Olympic Village. Charlie Leach in the 25th minute with the one and only goal here. And South Melbourne have an away lead against the league leaders in this round 23 clash at Olympic Village. Adam Sarikoglu, Oscar Rutherford on the call here on the NPL Victoria YouTube channel. We'll take our half-time break. In the Greek derby, Heidelberg United 0, South Melbourne 1.
Let's go.
substitution for the away team at half-time, coming off number 88, Charlie Leach, the goal scorer, coming on number 19.
Welcome back to Olympic Village, and South Melbourne leading the old rival Heidelberg United by 1-0. Oscar Rutherford and Adam Sarikoglu here on the call, and we have a half-time substitution for South Melbourne, and it's the man that scored that goal. Charlie Leach has been...
Let's go!
To be quite happy with how it's poised so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I think particularly the way that the first half finished, they really did weather the Heidelberg storm. Really the trajectory of the game changing with that Charlie Leach goal. Quite unusual to see the only goal scorer of the game substituted at half-time. But evidently, Sinisa Kahazic seeing fit to bring Andrew Mezzaruni onto the park, the former Port Melbourne man. And well, for Heidelberg, there were moments in that first half where it looked like they were getting the game to go the way that Johnny A would always draw up and accumulating that pressure, but South Melbourne did well to not just withstand the pressure, but do their own damage at the other end with that brilliant passing move that led to the opening goal. Still though, plenty of time for the Burgers to work their way back into this one. We know they are so often a team that does their damage in the second half. Though with that being said, they have only trailed at half-time twice this season. Got to go back to the opening game of the campaign against Melbourne Knights, where they of course lost despite trailing at the break. Opportunity here for Sabit Nyor for the Burgers, goes for the cross, but the sliding defence pays off for South Melbourne. The only other time that the Burgers have trailed at half-time was against St Albans a couple of months ago. That one ended in a 2-2 draw, so yet to win a game having trailed at half-time, but well, that's mostly because the Burgers aren't too often in this position. They will have an opportunity to get themselves back level early with Asahi Yokokawa to deliver the corner. Goes deep in the box, it finds the foot of Sabit Nyor, who got right underneath the shot and fired well off target. But a positive start for the Burgers. You can see them very quickly looking to reassert themselves on the general play.
Yeah, wouldn't be too surprised to see Johnny A imploring his charges to flick a switch here. Just perhaps go on the attack a little more. For what it's worth, it's a fairly breezy day here in Melbourne's north as well, blowing mostly toward the right top screen. A couple of shots have been blazed away to the right of screen, the southern end here so far this afternoon, and now into the evening. Twilight fixture here. Interopolis going long for Paul Duarch. And Glazer got a boot to it. Spink was in the one-on-one with Nyor. We'll reclaim the ball here for South. Picked up a late yellow card in the first half, did Braden Spink. Third appearance here for South Melbourne, coming down from Gold Coast United in the mid-season window. Dobson's gone and given it back to Anthony Theodoropoulos. It was a inquisitive ball coming in from Basetto. He was one that looked like he could be a threat for Heidelberg throughout the first half. Max Basetto scored 4 goals this season. They'll gain quite a bit of advantage here in yardage here, Heidelberg, by the time his throw is taken by Fletcher Fulton. Andrew Messarani, the new man out there. We'll get it back here. Looking to take on left lane. Left lane just had good positioning though, at minimum, to make it a 50-50 ball and then hold it up ultimately. One of 3 fixtures in NPL Victoria on this Saturday. Only 3 more match days to come after this in the league. Top 6 close to being set. There are a couple of positions in the bottom of that top 6 still up for grabs. South still in with a shot. They really do need the 3 points here if they're any chance at all. They need a lot to go their way. They'll get a look at a corner here. It's Hume City currently sitting 6th on the table. And South can mathematically catch them. Massaroni. And then forced in, but nothing coming. This is Yaron Souza. Left lean. Afforded some time and space to make a decision. Basetto going wide and gets it back. Max Basetto had a man on. Had Spink right with him. Theodoropoulos. Good first touch there. He's the one to shoot. But another wayward shot at that end. Whether it's been Yaron Souza or Harvey Lopez, they've not had too much to worry about at that end so far. Especially from range. Nothing on target.
Yeah, well, early doors looking like a similar pattern of play to what we saw for large parts of the first. Heidelberg with more of the ball and working it around, but when it gets to the final third, unable to pose a material threat to the South Melbourne defence. See if South Melbourne can remain as effective as they have been at repelling the Burgers' attacks throughout the second 45. Theodoropoulos looks in field where there's the touch from Fulton to set up a left lean to drive forward. Centre half uses Yokokawa. Yet again though, the end product isn't there. So things still going the way of South Melbourne. Really don't think we can understate just how impressive they have been in this game. And you look at this Heidelberg team, they've played 9 games since the start of June. They've kept clean sheets in 8 of those games across all competitions. It's been an extraordinary run. It's a big part of their record-breaking and potentially soon to be record-equaling unbeaten run. Those respective records across all competitions and in the NPL era, in the NPL competition. When you consider as well, this is a South team doing this without Lampard, no Yankovic, no Brennan, Iwakami, Mikola, Pope. There's a raft of first-team caliber players not on the park today. But as things stand, South Melbourne have got Heidelberg just about where they want them. They've got a lot more defending to do, though, if they are to come away with 3 points from the village. Mazzaruni trying the header towards Bernarda, but instead Heidelberg are quick to regain the ball. Yokokawa attempting to connect with Fulton. Yet again, though, the ball runs away from the Heidelberg attack. Can confirm as well in the game down at Paisley Park. Kicked off about 45 minutes before this one. Avondale have sealed the 3 points. So they are, as things stand, just 2 points behind Heidelberg. Burgers would give a lot to turn this scoreline around and head into that clash with the Avengers next week with their 5-point lead intact. At the moment, though, they've got some defending to do. Defending which was done very effectively by Ryan Leflin. Basetto attempting to work his way through the middle of the park. Instead, Mazzaruni, he's crowded out by 3 or 4 Heidelberg shirts. It's a bit Nyor. Underlapping run came from Theodoropoulos. Nyor opts to go himself. This is Idara. Once more, the Burgers are forced back. Muir tries the 1-2 with Lesiotis. It pans out. Muir got the shot away, but well defended again. South Melbourne, they've got the bodies where they need to be time and time again. Really is just a question of whether they'll be able to sustain this defensive effort for the full 90. So few teams have been able to do it, but then again, so few teams have had a lead to defend whilst attempting to do it. Fulton cops bit of a shove from Bernarda. Referee happy for the play to continue. Nagamatsu again the target, but left lane quicker to read it.
Nadar on the attack once more. Bisetto. He's surrounded by South defenders here. Does get a chance to play in eventually. And a crucial touch at that post by Dofferson. That same post he had that shot, didn't he? And the ball reflected off that and eventually in off the boot of Charlie Leach. Another regular mainstay for South that's now out of this game. He got subbed out at half-time. Heidelberg attacking. They've started the second half well. Yonkakawa's ball in. Collins keeps it with Heidelberg here for the moment. Lesiotis looking to carve a way through. Repeat corners right now for the hosts. And Dara moved over for the short corner in case that was the option. We go longer instead. York got a decent jump at least. But not even he was able to reach in the end.
We've seen it a lot this afternoon into the evening, haven't we, Adam? The overhit balls in the attacking third for Heidelberg. We know there's a bit of a breeze. We're not sure that really quite explains just how poor the execution has been. Overhitting balls at both ends of the pitch for Burgers. It's been a weakness and it's made life a little bit more comfortable for South.
The second half has started much like the first did, though. Heidelberg with the line share possession. This is Dofferson. Nagamatsu's moved his way up. And Bernarda had some space on Bisetto. Noel Bernarda. Bisetto just getting some body on body and putting Bernarda on the deck. Ultimately, Massarini. Left lane will win the one-on-one. Back with Bernarda. Painter Andrews. Massarini goes in back post. Dofferson not far away. Head in hands right now for Sinisa Kazadzic. They weren't far away from doubling the lead, South Melbourne. It's been a 3-year drought in the league against this opponent for South. Even longer still at this venue, a corner. Approaching the hour mark here. Alexander Menelau will take this corner for South Melbourne. The tall timber filtering in. There might have been a chance for Halfpenny. Didn't get the chance to go up in the end. Maybe a chance. Bernardo. It was a one-on-one. Well done, Souza. A couple of key moments that ultimately go begging for South Melbourne. They'll keep on pressing, though. Halfpenny. Nagamatsu, the only man in the area right now. It's cleared away by Collins. Played up into the sky by Adara. Dofferson goes tumbling over against Bisetto. Campbell Dofferson, he's been the one that's been a real nuisance for Johnny A this evening. He's all over the park and causing some serious headaches for Heidelberg.
Spink takes the free kick short to Mezzaruni, who of course delivered that wicked cross in a couple of minutes ago. Very nearly Dovison getting on the end of that. A rare opportunity here for Heidelberg to counter-attack. Borjuach set a task and Spink was always favourite to it. Should give some credit as well to Yaron Sosa. We've spoken about the defensive effort, the defensive record that Heidelberg have put together over the last couple of months, as we see Basetto going to the far post. You're closest to it, and final touch off a South Melbourne player. Yaron Sosa again making a sensational save. The flag never came up. He's been a not insignificant part of the clean sheets that Heidelberg have secured over the last couple of months. Right now it's his opposite number, Harvey Lopez, who will have work to do as the Burgers again get an opportunity for a corner delivery. Newell's the man charged with the responsibility. Worked its way through almost every player on the park and catches a faint South Melbourne touch on its way through. And so Heidelberg will get another crack, this time from the opposite side. Just over an hour played at Olympic Village. Heidelberg trying to break down the South Melbourne defence. This one's a little flatter. But Yokokawa will get a second attempt. Crowding around Harvey Lopez, making life very difficult for the South shot stopper. Again, it's a flat delivery towards the near post. Yokokawa tries to create the space for himself. He rolled it along the ground and Harvey Lopez had to be alert. He was in a good position, and for a goalkeeper of his quality, always likely to deal with the threat. South again looking to spring forward. Nagamatsu that time went a little bit early and was offside. You hear the Bronx cheers from the Heidelberg fans in that grandstand. Bernarda for South Melbourne. He and Basetto have had plenty to do with each other this afternoon. And at a similar time to what we saw in the first 45, get the sense that Heidelberg are tightening the screw a little bit, upping the intensity and the tempo to their play as that crossfield ball picks out Sabit Nyor. Nyor has a couple of opponents to contend with. Dovison's one of them, Spink the other, but Nyor comes away with the ball at his feet. Theodoropoulos cross into the box and headed well clear by Jack Painter-Andrews.
– 18 minutes into this second half, and Heidelberg United have sustained this pressure on South, but have not capitalised. We know they'll fight to the end. But South Melbourne on the counter. That's been their MO today. And Bernarda dashes down the right wing once more. Nagamatsu's available in the area. Just plays on. Mezzaruni. The shot took a pretty heavy deflection immediately off his boot. It's up for grabs right now. Collins tried to keep his footing. Menelau went in hard. Heads up with Borjuach. The diagonal out in the direction of Basetto. He'll have some time and space. Eventually he'll run into Painter-Andrews, still with Max Basetto. Just tried to nip one back, and they've earned another corner. If South Melbourne aren't careful, this goal is going to come for Heidelberg. We'll be back to square. The tempo has been lifted for the men in yellow and black here in the second half. Another corner from Yokokawa, and it's gone in! Sabit Nyor! Textbook header from the corner! There is that goal that felt like it was coming for nearly 20 minutes. All square at Olympic Village.
Well, finally they got the corner delivery right, putting it on a dime in the middle of the box. And Muir thundered it home to bring the Burgers level. They've defended resolutely, South Melbourne, but in the end, the Heidelberg pressure told. And well, now, Adam, we've got ourselves a really interesting situation. 65 minutes into the game, around about half an hour left of football. And the question for South, how ambitious do they become now? We know what the Burgers are going to do. They're going to be throwing everything at this and trying to turn the scoreline on its head. But for South Melbourne, question of how ambitious they want to be.
Yeah, they might have to throw everything they can at this now, because Heidelberg could really go on a tear here. Muir gets some pressure coming from Braden Spink. It's out for a goal kick. So that's pretty much gone exactly to script if you're Johnny 8. Conceded the goal before the half-hour mark in the first half. That was somewhat against the flow. And South got some momentum from that. The halftime speech and adjustments from Johnny Anastasiadis has definitely worked, and now they're going again. Ball Duarch, the leading scorer. It was a half-hearted attempt at best. That was never going to trouble Harvey Lopez. It's just so measured and organised and just lacking any chaos whatsoever, the way Heidelberg go about their football. It was almost like a calm confidence. They had trailed for 40 minutes of play, and it didn't bother them one bit. They've now been able to get that goal back. And right now, you'd be putting all sorts of money on them to run this out, you would think. All due respect to South, Heidelberg have them exactly where they want them, you would think.
Well, they definitely do. South have withstood a number of difficult periods in this game. Up until that Muir goal, they managed to repel the Burgers, but yeah, this will be one of the harder situations to come back from, you'd think, if you're South Melbourne. See them attempting to spend some time on the ball. It's a high-risk approach, and they were very nearly made to pay for it, but they do well to play their way through the Burgers' press. Nagamatsu now overruns the ball. And well, you can see what South Melbourne were trying to do. It's how they got their goal in the first half, inviting the press and eventually working their way through it. But at the moment, South largely unable to string many extended passages of play together. It really is all hands on deck in a defensive sense. Here is the goal scorer, Muir. Really good to see him finding the score sheet again. We know what he can do. He's trying from a long way out now. Probably a player who's feeling pretty good about himself, Muir. Happy to take on that strike from a long way out, and certainly wasn't lacking in power. Hasn't quite been able to recapture the magic of his first Heidelberg spell, Muir. But if he can start finding the back of the net with regularity in these final few months of the season, that will go a long way in the Burgers' quest for silverware and potentially multiple pieces. And this could be a really important step on that journey. Fulton turns past his opponent to create the space for Idara. Idara attempting the cross, but well met by Cooper Halfpenny. Cross into the area. Run from Yokokawa, and Heidelberg will get another corner. substitution on the cards for South Melbourne, perhaps at the next break of play. But first, I'll have to deal with this Yokokawa delivery. Made it work pretty well last time. He's going to a similar area. This time Marshall was in the heart of the box to head it clear. Nyor opts to retreat to Lesiotis. And now Yokokawa. Right-footed cross again. This time arriving at the far side was Nyor. That shot thundering against his opponent. And with that ball going out of play, may well provide the opportunity for Morgan Evans to make his introduction.
First appearance in a month for Morgan Evans. It's going to be Alexander Manilau to make way.
South Melbourne coming off the pitch, number 14, Alexander Manilau. Coming on, number 23, Morgan Evans.
That's just confirmed by our grounds announcer here. It's been pretty much one-way traffic in this second half so far. Play now resuming, 20 minutes remaining here on Derby Day. This is Collins. Lesiotis. Left lean. Nyor, the hot hand right now, played it in pretty dangerously. The shot fired, but blocked immediately. Nyor will go again. Wasn't handled in the area, waved off quickly by Yanni Zizis. Waved off confidently as well. It was Bacetto trying to get the shot away. It got denied pretty quickly. But the league leaders are cooking right now. It has been seriously impressive. In this second half, South informed themselves. And certainly a lot of change with their personnel coming into this fixture, having played an away cup game down in Tasmania on Wednesday. And still some big fixtures to come for South as well, away from NPL Victoria. But the longer this goes, Heidelberg perhaps with a few more of the regular starters out there. Not all of them, of course. Jamal Ali not out here tonight. But with a fair chunk of the regulars still out there, they are a serious threat to tear this one apart late. Ball Duarte is going to earn another corner. We haven't seen a change yet from Johnny A today. Once more, Yokokawa and Aidara will make their way over toward the flag. Aidara available as a short option if Yokokawa doesn't want to go for it. I've seen some balls overhit, as Oscar mentioned, throughout this game so far for Heidelberg. Can Asahi Yokokawa keep this one a bit lower? He can. Nort tracking it down. Complete nutmeg there as he plays into the area. All chaos on the goal line. The whistle before it goes in. The assistant on the sideline has put the flag out. No goal. South want to get on with it. But how was that move from Sebiut Nyor? I think it was on Ren Nagamatsu.
Well, at the moment, it feels like a matter of time before the Burgers break down the South Melbourne defensive wall. Sebiut Nyor is really feeling it, and understandably so, having got that equalising goal. He's continuing his run now. Ball Duarte, the target of his pass, but Marshall getting across. That offside flag doing South a massive favour as they remain level on the scoreboard. But they really need the trajectory of this game to change. If they are to hold on to anything from this meeting, there's an ambitious attempt fired in, but Harvey Lopez will be much more content to watch that one sail over his crossbar. course, Morgan Evans being brought on a few minutes ago. Just a word on Alex Manilau as well, making his first start for South Melbourne. And I don't know about you, Adam, but thought that he did plenty of good work in the middle of the parks, Alex Manilau, in what is a difficult match-up against this Heidelberg team, particularly at Olympic Village, playing in the midfield. Heidelberg getting ready to perhaps make use of their bench as well, as they look to drive home their momentum and advantage. John Anastasiadis having a bit of a discussion with our fourth official and ultimately ceding to the official's authority. Fourth official today, Lucas Matia. And looking as if at the next break of play, Peter Klaassen will be introduced to the game. One of the players who started the Australia Cup win midweek. And with an opportunity to make an impact in the final minutes of this game. Got the assist for Asahi Yokokawa's opening goal against the Western Bears for Heidelberg. And with the ball out for a throw, that substitution will be made. Klaassen taking the place of the league's top scorer, Buljuach. So a brave coach to take off a 17-goal striker in the final 15 minutes of a game, but well, a reflection of the attacking depth that the Burgers have at their disposal. Klaassen getting involved right away as he looks to build on the attacking momentum that the Burgers continue to build. Theodoropoulos, a really important interception to stop it from getting to Nagamatsu. That ball leaves a little bit to be desired, though.
Not too surprised to see Buljuach coming off, though. Hasn't had a major impact. So you've got to think about Avondale coming up next week as well. There's enough attacking power out there that Johnny A can afford to bring off the league's leading scorer. So, not really an outrageous change, that one. Another note handed to the fourth official from the South Melbourne side. I think they've only got one window left available to them. If it stays as a draw, that'll be South as good as done in the fight for the top six. Not quite mathematically necessarily, but certainly it will pretty much ensure that they stay in that no man's land, I think, in NPL Victoria this year, safe from the drop, but not advancing beyond the home and away season. Luca Durso, Andres Kapoulis are going to be coming on for South. Sebit-Nyor slipping over and still try. At least he tried to keep it in possession for Heidelberg, but Renaga Matsu, he thought he was out until he was denied. Well, the referee's assistant. Here come the changes for South Melbourne. Ren Nagamatsu, the first man coming off. The second one, Campbell Dofferson. And on come Andres Kapoulis and Luca Durso. Third window that they've used here this evening. A change of footwear for Braden Spink as well. And yeah, to be fair, Oscar, a few players are slipping over on a pitch that looks pretty good. It has been wet earlier today here in Melbourne. We've had the rain stay away for the duration of this game that did kick off at 4 p.m. Here we go. Harvey Lopez has to get in behind it. Quick reflexes. And ultimately, it stays 1-1. The threat continues for Heidelberg United.
Oh, and a bit of a surprise to see Braden Spink waiting till the 80th minute to make the footwear change. There's a chance here for Luca Durzo. South Melbourne, it'd be an almighty steal if they were to score the third goal of this game. But for now, they've got another counter-attacking move to defend. Ball sent through towards Peter Klaassen, but Javi Lopez quick off his line. And with 10 minutes of the 90 remaining, South Melbourne will be giving everything to hold out the relentless Heidelberg attacking push. Whilst the Burgers try desperately to regain their 5-point lead atop the NPL Men's Victoria ladder. This is Collins, Burgers captain, who looks to have fully recovered from that earlier concern in his groin area that we saw in the first half. Sevenyours won the Burgers another corner though. Another chance for Heidelberg to take the lead for the first time in the match. Yokakawa with the delivery. It's flat and finds its way towards left lane. Still the ball is alive. Falls back out to Yokakawa. And a really firm coming together, but a legal, strong challenge from Andres Skopoulis, the substitute. Never easy to slot into a defensive lineup that's just attempting to withstand a barrage of attacks. Did that very effectively, the 19-year-old. Of course, a point for Heidelberg would mean that they end the night 3 points ahead of Avondale, with goal differences very near to one another. As things stand, Heidelberg plus 31, Avondale plus 32. So it would mean that an Avondale win next weekend would see the Avengers take top spot. That, no doubt, part of the incentive for the Burgers to continue to look for this winning goal. Both coaches again readying some substitutions. The Heidelberg one will happen now. Jay McGowan coming into the game. So another attacking threat given a run, taking the place of Max Bisetto. Now the throw into the penalty area. Klaassen driving it across goal. South do enough to get it clear. This is Theodoropoulos. Now Yokakawa goes right towards the byline and unable to keep the ball in play. So South Melbourne will get a bit of a reprieve and perhaps now will also be able to make their substitution. With Cooper Head getting ready to make his bow with just over 5 minutes of regulation time remaining. And Jack Painter Andrews, the player to make way for the youngster.
Took a touch off the boot of Braden Spink. Just a little over 5 minutes remaining here. South have been on the back foot in this second half. But right now they're still sharing a point with the old rival, Noel Bernarda. It's still with Bernarda. Just puts Urso on the back foot a little bit. Cooperhead trying to have a quick impact, trying to play in, but Heidelberg will go onto the counter now. Lesiotis eventually releasing out in the direction of Yokokawa. Asahi Yokokawa kept it along the ground. How's it going to bounce for Bernarda? That's Fletcher Fulton all over him. Noel Bernarda now. Had some help coming in from behind. Late corner for South Melbourne here. Can they steal back a lead?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could all pay some attention to your surroundings for a missing set of car keys. If you locate a set of car keys nearby your vicinity, please hand them into the canteen in the Kelly Pavilion. Thank you.
Don't know if everyone at home caught that, but some missing car keys here at the Olympic Village. No car keys that we can see here, Oscar. We're okay. South haven't seemingly decided who's going to take this corner. Ball's been sitting at the spot for a while now. Andrew Messaruni eventually comes over. Maybe they don't want much time left on the clock here. Momentum with Heidelberg. They might sense this could be one of their few final chances. Heidelberg are the ones that are full of running. Nothing happens from the corner. The Lesiotis ball doesn't quite reach the target as it came back, and there's bodies flying everywhere. This will be the first yellow of the second half. More changes coming for Johnny A. The yellow card shown to Andre Skopoulos. Johnny Apostolopoulos is going to be coming on for Heidelberg. And here's a moment. It's a very dangerous touch. It kept tracking toward the net. And into the net it went. But no goal. An injury on the goal line here. What has happened? A South player down. And some concern for that South player. The Heidelberg coaches are arguing their case with the fourth official. No goal. All sorts of chaos on the goal line. A South man still down, and that is the main concern right now. Never a dull moment between Heidelberg United and South Melbourne.
Well, it's pandemonium at the Village. I think the referee's call that Savitnor fouled his opponent as he was trying desperately to get to that ball ahead of Javi Lopez. He beat the goalkeeper to it. Just trying to get a look at the replay at the moment to assess how the decision was made. In the midst of it all, Johnny Apostolopoulos has been subbed into the game for Fletcher Fulton. But I believe the call, Adam, was that Savitnor fouled Braden Spink as he was trying to get to the ball, just on the goal line, really. Javi Lopez came off his line, risked it all, and has had his blushes spared. So we head into the final 60 seconds of the 90. The scoreline still 1-1. The Heidelberg bench continuing to remonstrate with the officiating team. But there is still time for them to grab a winning goal. Apostolopoulos with the cross. That one well overhit. McGowan closest to it. And if there was any doubt as to South Melbourne's approach to these final few minutes, they just send it long and get it as far away from goal as possible for Noel Bernarda to chase. It's a dangerous giveaway at the back. South Melbourne with an opportunity. Morgan Evans is on the ball. He skies the attempt. Well, that would be the steal to end all steals if South Melbourne were able to grab a goal in the 90th minute. Morgan Evans, maybe not the most experienced player for that opportunity to fall to.
Yeah, looked a little lost there in the shot. There's nothing to write home about. There'll be 5 minutes added on.
5 minutes of additional time.
Probably good news for Heidelberg United in particular. Lesiotis going in. Inglese took his man down. Apostolopoulos has just come on. Fletcher Fulton, the man coming off for Apostolopoulos, who's now double teamed. It'll be a Heidelberg throw. It was big Peter Klaassen that got dragged down by Inglese in the area. There's been quite a few moments of drama inside that particular penalty box. Left lean will explode from downtown. Did it take a deflection? No, it'll be a goal kick.
You're not sure that was the moment for that from Ryan Leftley and his team have been creating better quality opportunities than that. It's not as if nothing that they're throwing at the wall is sticking. They're getting some good looks. But Leftley just releasing the pressure valve with that attempt. South Melbourne about 4 minutes left to hang on if they are to secure a point.
The ball couldn't be chased out. And the highly unlikely shot that they can still reach the top 6. If South have that in mind, they need to score. A draw will really hurt their chances if they think they still have one. And somehow making the finals in NPL Victoria. We saw Avondale claim 3 points earlier today. That will put some pressure back onto Heidelberg United. They will meet next week. Sebitnyor. Souza had the post covered. And we're 5 minutes added on here. The long throw being set up here. Apostolopoulos going long for the box. Did he get chopped down? He did. Nawal Bernarda not happy with the officials. And a new dead ball situation that South have to navigate here. Asahi Yokokawa fills that role for Heidelberg. They'd love nothing more than a late winner against their oldest rival. Yannis will give the all clear to Asahi Yokokawa. Some tall timber in there. It was cleared away. Lesiotis, another one that ends up in the traffic.
Well, it's at the last real look that Heidelberg will get in this game. Just over a minute remains of the allocated 5. So maybe one more look in for Heidelberg, one more chance to win another Greek derby. Javi Lopez will be in no rush whatsoever to get this play back underway. And once he does, he'll be sending it as far and high as he can. You see the wind holding the ball up. It's made it awkward for South Melbourne as Yokokawa attempts the cross. And it's well defended. South win the throw. And maybe now they've done enough. Referee Yanni Zizis. Well, how much longer we play now, very much at his discretion. South get the ball into the Heidelberg half and attempt to send Bernarda for a run. That is full time. Controversy at Olympic Village, but South Melbourne have taken a point from the league leaders. Heidelberg's lead on top of the NPL Men's Victoria ladder cut to 3 points with this afternoon's fixtures. And for South Melbourne, they continue to pick up points under Sinisha Kahadzic. They scored a sensational goal in the first half. Ultimately, it was Charlie Leach with the finish. The Burgers were knocking on the door for more or less the entire game. They did eventually find a way to score thanks to a Sabit Nyor header. But in the end, Heidelberg only able to claim a point. The controversy came in the final minutes when a foul called right on the goal line as Heidelberg looked to have sealed the winning goal. But that's all the time that we have from Olympic Village. Adam Sarachoglu and Oscar Rutherford with you for this evening's game. A cracking Greek derby ends 1-1. Full-time score, Heidelberg United 1, South Melbourne 1.